European Sleeper is a new railway operator aiming to provide overnight train services connecting major European cities. Founded in 2020, it started services between Berlin and Brussels via Amsterdam in 2023. I also have a video on the first European sleeper train. And now they expanded their services to Prague. What it's like to travel with European Sleeper to the Czech Republic. A little less after 1 year since they started their first service. We're all about to find out in this video. So join me on this European sleeper train connecting 4 European countries and also their capital cities with each other. And if you change one more time at the end or the beginning of the journey, this number is at least 8. For now, let's get this video on the track and let's roll the intro. And lucky me, I can start this journey at the comfort of my own city. As a matter of fact, I can even start this at the railway station I'm using normally as well for my, well, pretty much all train journeys I start. What is the Hague HS? To me, this is not only the starting point or the end point of most of my commutes, but it's also the starting point for most of my railway adventures all over Europe and Asia. And to my surprise, it was even already listed on the departure screens of the railway station within the tram I took to the station. Well, for this video I won't do a station review, but first let's take a look at the route for European Sleeper. These trains will start in Brussels in Belgium and then go via the Netherlands and Germany in Berlin to Prague. So you can also use it as a sleeper train, for example, between Amsterdam and Berlin. And even though I could start the journey eastbound from my home railway station of the Hague HS, on the way back the train doesn't call here, so from Prague and Berlin to the Netherlands and Belgium. For that I had to end up my journey at the station of Rotterdam Centraal. What isn't a big problem though, because it's not too far away from The Hague anyway. And even though I told you a little bit already about the route of European Sleeper, let's take a closer look on the official route map. European Sleeper is operating 3 times per week, at least for now, between Brussels and Prague. On Monday, Wednesday and Friday from Brussels to Prague, and on Sunday, Tuesday and Thursday from Prague to Brussels. You can also use European Sleeper trains if you're traveling, for example, between Prague and Berlin. Basically, you can always use it between any international crossing. Because if there will be, for example, people who take the sleeper train to Amsterdam, it will be waste of space and also money if you don't use the empty spots that will be free from Amsterdam to Brussels. I also noticed quite some people using these trains, for example, only between the Czech Republic and Germany, and also between the Netherlands and Belgium, where this is basically a day train. And actually this is a great addition, especially for the route Prague-Berlin, because this is the last train of the day from Prague to Berlin. And even though the route of European Sleeper doesn't make a whole lot of sense, I mean it's not the shortest route and that's the least I could say, it's really convenient to have this new sleeper train connecting 4 European capitals with each other. From Brussels you can also get high-speed trains to London and Paris. From Berlin you can connect on Eurocity trains to Russia, and from Prague you find connecting trains to Bratislava, Budapest and Vienna. Well, in terms of rolling stock, European Sleeper has a very interesting train. They managed to find one of the very few engines that is capable to run in Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany and the Czech Republic. And even though the locomotive might be a truck's locomotive, what you can find literally everywhere in Europe, not all trucks locomotives are capable to operate in all these countries. That's only a handful of these engines, and I think it's great they have it on this train. So basically this train doesn't need to change the engine at the borders. For the rest of the train, European Sleeper is using mainly couchette carriages. Most of them are from the 90s and do have air conditioning, but you also find some older Slovak carriages that are, well, a little bit more old-fashioned but still pretty good. The star of the show are the 2 sleeping carriages, but I will show you them in a bit. They are from the 1950s. The advantage of having carriages is that you can adjust the length of the train based on demand. This way, it's also easier for maintenance and you don't have extra costs if there are not a lot of bookings. The departure I showed you earlier on was the very first departure on the route to Prague. But we took the train a couple of days later, about a week after they launched their route to Prague as well. And even though this train was also very long, it wasn't as long as the first departure to Prague. What is absolutely great and unique about European Sleeper is that this railway company has been crowd-funded. Both me and my girlfriend, we both own shares of European Sleeper as well. Even though it's not a lot and even though it's not just to make money. It's mainly because we really like European Sleeper, the initiative. On the outbound journey from the Netherlands to the Czech Republic, we were staying in one of the sleeping compartments. You only find 2 of these carriages and there are not a whole lot of these compartments, so we were quite lucky they were still available, even though we booked relatively last minute. As we made our way out of The Hague, our cabin attendant checked our tickets and also gave us some welcome information. On the outbound journey, we were actually lucky enough to find ourselves a private sleeper compartment. These one book out fastest. There's also the most luxury cabins. The carriages they are using for the sleeping compartments are actually the oldest carriages they have. I think they're from the 1960s or so, so it's really old. We put the stuff in already here. It's a bit messy, but therefore I want to show you another cabin a little bit down the road, a little bit further on, that's still empty, so I can give you a kind of room tour. So here we go. So let me walk you through to one of the empty sleeping cabins. All the lights are on. You find a light button here. This should be a night light, although it's quite bright for a night light. I really like the moon shape, by the way. Let me close the door to film a bit. Here we go. You can lock the door from inside out, like this way. This way the conductor can still open it from outside, but if you lock it like, I don't know exactly how this works, like this, it's not possible. Let me put it back. These are the most luxury cabins you can find on these trains, and you have really a lot of space. You can travel up to 3 people in here. There's 1 bed, well, if you put this down, you have 1 bed, 2 and 3. The 3rd bed is already there. The mattresses are a bit better, it's softer. Breakfast is automatically included. Well, just like all the other cabins, at least for the berth cabins, you get a little drink. There's a pencil. And what makes this also, apart from the space and the mattress a little bit better, you have your own washing sink with obviously water. There's a towel, there's another one here. And right below this you find 2 garbage bins. The biggest downside to me for this cabin is that you have no power socket in the cabin itself. These carriages date back from the 1960s. Back then people just didn't have phones they needed to charge. Maybe a razor, and that's exactly what you find here.
Dear passengers,
let me wait for after the announcements. Skip whatever, maybe people will get in here, so I finish this quickly. You have really a generous amount of room over your space. Also for your luggage. If you put the bed down, you can have a lot of space for your luggage over there. These seats are fairly comfortable, but apart from this space you have all over the cabin. You find a lot of space for your luggage over here and here. You don't need to worry about that. If you're traveling as a bigger family with, for example, 6 people, and you want to have these cabins, well, this all comes with a price tag, of course. Huh? You can open these doors and then you have, well, you can interact with each other. It's basically, you can make one big shared compartment. I'll show you in a bit. You find a ladder for the upper berths here. There is a coating, it's really wobbly, but you can put them here so it's, well, less wobbly. I think there should be up to 3 per compartment. Some general information about safety, rules on board, etc. is written here. For all beds, you find a small reading light. It's located over here. And you can control the light switches of the cabin itself over here. Well, let me turn them on, it's easier to film. Temperature can be controlled over here. In our cabin this doesn't work that well. Once again, these are very old carriages, they back from the 60s. But the maintenance has been done very good, so it doesn't feel old. Yeah, I don't know what else I should say, and probably I forgot a lot of things, but I will use a voiceover for that part. This is how it looks like if you open up the doors and you have these compartments in day composition. At the side there's a very small menu, really don't expect too much of it. If you stay in these sleeping cabins, you get one complimentary drink. That's basically anything from the menu except the wines. The prices are fairly reasonable as well. You can only pay by card in European sleeper trains, and sometimes I noticed the staff wasn't that much into selling extra drinks. I think they can make some more incentives for the staff as well, because this can be some good extra income for European sleeper as well. These sleeping compartments can be booked privately or shared. We booked it privately for the two of us. I like this in general much more, especially for these sleeping compartments. If you book this shared, this will be based on gender, so male or female. For the shared couchette compartments, this is in general mixed, so male and female together. However, there are some woman-only compartments for the couchette compartments as well. You set up a time with the steward to make the beds in the sleeping compartments, and then the steward will come by to, well, make the beds for you. And this looks really comfortable. The mattresses are way nicer, and you also have way better bedding than in the couchette compartments. But I'll show you this in a bit. These are the toilets in the sleeping carriages. Pretty fine and also pretty simple. Most importantly, they were clean. On our way eastbound, the train also calls at Schiphol Airport. This is the airport of Amsterdam, but it's a big railway station as well. The train doesn't call here on the moment it goes from Prague and Berlin to Amsterdam and Brussels. Then this station will also be skipped, just like The Hague. Speaking of the Schiphol Airport, let's take a closer look on the environmental impact if you're traveling by train, car and plane on the route Brussels-Prague. What is the entire route? If you go, for example, between Amsterdam and Berlin, the environmental impact of the train compared to the plane is much better in favor of the train. And this all has to do with the fact that this train is not really in a straight line. As a matter of fact, I think this actually makes this train good as well, because it serves more cities and more people, and also functions not only as a sleeper train, but also as an additional day train on these routes. Anyway, this graph shows the environmental impact between car, train and plane on the route Brussels South to Prague main station. Of course, numbers are never this black and white, and there are many things to add up to this. You can count yourself rich or poor, just the way you like to do this. Our train makes its way through Amsterdam through the night, and before we know it, after Schiphol Airport, we reach the outskirts of Amsterdam and then Amsterdam Central Railway Station. And what I really like about European Sleeper is that the windows can be opened of the couchette carriages, even for the couchette carriages that are air conditioned. I don't know how they'll deal with this. If it will be hot in the summertime, maybe they will lock the windows for those days. But in general, they would really like to keep the windows open as well as much as possible. What is perfect for videos or pictures, but please be careful if you open the windows and you take your camera out. After Amsterdam, the train makes another stop in the Netherlands at Amersfoort Central Railway Station and Deventer. And after that, the train will go to Bad Bentheim. Bad Bentheim is the border railway station between the Netherlands and Germany and is the first stop in Germany. After Bad Bentheim, the train won't stop until Berlin for another 5 hours. While the regular trains only need about 3.5 hours between Bad Bentheim and Berlin, our train needs a bit more, and this has mainly to do with the fact that they counted some extra time in the timetable, so if there will be any delays or deroutes, the train would still be on time in Berlin. This was also true because at the moment I woke up, about 5 hours later, our train was standing somewhere at a track near Berlin. Originally I was planning to do something in the garden this weekend, and we were standing right next to one of the DIY shops I go to for, well, doing some things at home as well. Maybe this was a sign I shouldn't have gone to Prague? Well, absolutely not. I really love to be on one of the first European sleeper trains that is going to Prague, even though it's not the first one. Actually, I was way too excited to be on this train to Prague. I only started sleeping right after the railway station of Bad Bentheim, and just before the railway station of Berlin, Hauptbahnhof to Berlin main station, I already woke up. The breakfast that is included in the sleeping compartments was overhanded a little bit after we asked for this. The breakfast is not super impressive, to be honest, but it's nice that it's included. What I really like to see is an option to have a vegetarian version or not, because there was a small meat product included as well. We spent the Easter weekend in Prague and the weather was absolutely great. Prague is a great city, and even if your destination isn't Prague, from Prague you find so many other trains, so European Sleeper is a great connection for you if you want to go to other destinations within Europe as well. On the way back we were staying in one of the Couchette compartments, and these compartments you will find most. I will show you these compartments in a bit. But first, if you like this video so far, please give me a thumbs up, I really appreciate it, and this helps to grow the channel and to convince more people about a more sustainable way of transportation. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or cross-bordering traveling, then hit that subscribe button. Let's continue with the video for now. Let me give you a cabin tour of the 5-person Couchette compartments. And this is how they are. I will do this quickly. I did this already before in my previous videos and I'm doing it again. I will move from that side to the other side and from up to down. Right over here there's a lot of space for your luggage above the above the aisle. And what I like about these compartments is that you have this mirror, so you can have an overview if you left some luggage, if you leave the train or not. Right here you find the light switches for the main light. If you turn off the main light you can use this and this. This is small, well, some spots, actually quite bright, and a night light over here. I think the night light is actually still quite bright, to be honest. But for filming, let me turn on the main light. These carriages do have air conditioning, and you can control the temperature a little bit this way. It's not, you cannot set it to a specific temperature, but just cooler or warmer. Button to call the staff. This way you can lock your compartment, and if you do it this way the staff can still open your compartments from outside. However, you can also lock it like this. Well, I'm not going to do that now, but if you do that, well, it's a bit hard to open it from outside. In general, if you have a shared compartment, don't use it, because you might be entering the train, for example, in Prague or Brussels, and other people might join you along the way, and well, then they can't enter your carriage, so it's not that nice. You find curtains right over here, small hook for some coats. If you turn off the main light, and you can turn on one of the other lights over here, by the way, but if you turn off the main light you can also use reading lights. All beds do have their personal reading light. You find 4 beds in these compartments. 1, 2, well, I mean 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let me show you how. You put these down and here you go. Personally, I don't really like this. I'm quite a tall boy, and then, well, I might be struggling a little bit with this, with my feet. Sometimes it's resting as well on something below here. I prefer that a little bit more, to be honest, but this is still good. You will have some blankets, I'll show you later on how this is. And because you have 5 beds only here, this bed is a little bit lower, this upper bed is a little bit lower than this upper bed. Here's the middle bed. This can also be used as a seating carriage, and you'll find 6 seats, and well, you have something to rest your back to. And what I like in the middle seats, if you fold this down, you have a little table. Especially if you take this train from the beginning to the end, from Brussels to Prague, you might travel for a big part of the journey at daytime as well. What is really nice that you have this. Let's move to that side. Over here you find 2 power sockets. I really like it. I mean, these are older trains, so well, it's nice that it's there. It's very small litter bin and a very small table. However, you can make the table way bigger, because right below the bed, well, below one of the beds, you find a table and a ladder. I'll show you how it looks like with a table later on in the video. And the ladder. Let me try to do this with one hand. I didn't do it with one hand, so... But anyway, you can attach a ladder through here, so you can climb to the upper beds. You can also attach it over here. Although personally I prefer to do it this way, because then you can, well, still enter or leave the compartments a bit more. Let me put it back. Seriously, you'll find some curtains over here. I mean, they do filter out quite some light, but they still might be moving, because you're on a moving train. So if you have the lower beds, keep this in mind and maybe bring an eye mask to, well, filter out some lights. If you are a very light sleeper, I also recommend you to bring some earplugs. Personally, I always take earplugs and a sleeping mask when I'm on a sleeper train, no matter in what kind of compartment I am. Right over here, you find the button you can use to control the announcement volume. And what I really like, you can open up the windows. I need two hands for this as well. Here you go. Well, I will close them. But even though these carriages are air conditioned, you can open up the window. What I really like. I can imagine if it's really hot in the summertime and people want to open this, they might, well, make it impossible to open the windows, because otherwise the air conditioning doesn't work that well. But anyway, these are the 5 people, or like the comfort couchette compartments. For now, let's continue with this train tour. Along the aisles of these carriages, you'll find some washing sinks you can use to brush your teeth at night, or to fresh yourself a little bit up in the morning. Apart from that, toilets are also located at the very end of these carriages. And this is how they are. Pretty basic, but okay. Also, if you're staying in the couchette compartments, there's a small menu you can use to order some drinks and snacks. The snack selection is really limited, and especially if you take this train from Prague to Berlin or any other destination, keep in mind it will leave quite early. And, well, I advise you to bring some food with you or to have dinner before you board the train. The most fancy dinner you can have are these noodles. I really think they can improve this a bit more, but I also understand that it's a lot of work. And by the way, did you know European Sleeper has their own beer? This is how the 5 people couchette compartments look like if you put in the bigger table. It's actually really comfortable, and if you want to play games, for example, this is perfect. So we made our bed. We had some extra blankets. I don't know what my girlfriend is doing actually right now, but she's taking advantage of it. I think we're gonna have a good night now. We need to clean up a little bit more. We have this compartment to ourselves, what is very luxury. But yeah, we just go to sleep now, and I don't know what I will do for the rest of this video. Let's continue with the video, I would say. Well, we had a good night on the way back as well, although I have to say, the beds in the 5 people couchette compartments are not that tall, and for a tall guy like me, I don't really like this. Well, spending here one night is okay. For now, let's check out the couchette compartments for 6 people. So these are the 6 people couchette compartments. On the way to, and actually also right now, they will also use this for the seating compartments. Don't count on this if you have a seating compartment. You also might have the way less comfortable seating compartments. But let me give you a cabin tour. Just like the 5 people compartments, you will find the light switch above the entrance doors, and there's a lot of space for luggage over here. Although it's a little bit less because of this thing over here. Small night light like this as well, but let me turn on the main light. Obviously, if you turn off the main light, the reading lights do work. Otherwise, they don't work. These compartments can be used up to 6 people. So 1 bed, 2, 3, and also at the other side. In this situation, you put this one up, and you take this thing out. You need to do the same thing on the other side, obviously. Here it is. And here you go. They are resting on this thing over here. So this basically means you have a little bit more space for your legs if you're a tall boy like me. And therefore I think I prefer these here. And also the middle seats or the middle beds are in general not the most favorite beds. However, if you are quite tall, the window provides some extra room for you. It's not a lot, but it is really nice that it's there. Let me put it back. These compartments don't have an air conditioning, but obviously you can open up the window, and right above the windows you'll find power sockets as well. Even a USB thing over here, see? Didn't saw that in the comfort cabinet. Well, power socket, power socket. You find some little bins, something you can control the temperature of the cabinet a little bit with. Yeah, I think that's about it. I might forgot some stuff. I'll tell you about that later on. Oh yeah, obviously. Well, you can close the door like this, same story. This way they can open it from outside still. But you find some extra locks here as well. I don't know if this also works. Anyway, same story. You can use this one as well. And there is a ladder and a big table right under the bed. And just like the previous compartment, the comfort compartment, you have a lot of space for luggage right under the lower beds as well. For now, I don't know, let's continue with this train tour. When I traveled with the very first European sleeper almost a year ago, I also noticed these seating carriages and these other seating carriages you might expect. And personally, I really don't like them. These seats can hardly be reclined. And yeah, it's just not the way I like to travel. At least I don't like to travel overnight like this. However, these seating carriages do have some extra capacity for bikes. Speaking of which, I also noticed this couchette carriage that was, well, like half a carriage with normal couchettes, and these couchettes were a little bit more modern as well. And over here there's a lot of space for bikes as well. I also noticed exactly the same carriage on the first European sleeper train I took. In terms of rolling stock, European Sleeper is a very interesting company. European Sleeper doesn't own an engine, and they hardly own carriages as well. The rolling stock is all basically being chartered. At the outside of the train there will be some displays, well, this is all analog, and these displays will indicate the carriage number. And there's a big variety of different carriages. Most carriages I noticed when the train was launching its service to Prague, or these carriages you can see here on the left, and these are basically the 5-people couchette compartments, or the comfort couchette compartments. These have been built in the 1990s and are all air conditioned. The carriages that accommodate the 6-people couchettes are these here on the left, and these are Slovak carriages. They really found these carriages everywhere to make this European sleeper train, and I really like this. The carriages I like most from both the in and the outside are these stainless steel carriages. These have been built in the 1950s by the Wagon Lease company. The seating carriages I showed you briefly in this video as well, I didn't notice them in none of my trips I had in April with European Sleeper. However, you might expect them as well. Well, you can expect a different variety of these European sleeper trains, and also the length of the trains is based on the demand of passengers. So if there are a lot of bookings, these trains will be longer, and if there are not that many bookings, they just leave some carriages at home. Maintenance for these carriages is being done in Prague, the Czech Republic. At the very end of the train I also noticed a different carriage, and this was the more modern couchette carriage that is for 6 people but also hosts spots for the bike. Over here there's also quite a big door to easily unload and offload your bike if you're traveling with a bike on board of these trains. And I think it's great that bikes are being accepted on European Sleeper train. And I'm gonna be honest with you, European Sleeper doesn't have the best trains at all. But I just really like European Sleeper and the way they just approach this market as a new rebellious railway company and trying to open it up for other companies as well. And I really want to give a shout out to all the staff that was on board of the European Sleeper train. I think some other railway companies, and then especially the biggest sleeper train railway company in Europe, can take a great example of this. Well, for the last bit of the video I will show you some views from the train. After Berlin Hauptbahnhof, our train went to Berlin Ostbahnhof, so East Railway Station of Berlin, to continue its way to Dresden. And the views from the train between Dresden and Prague are by far the most scenic section of the route of European Sleeper. And that's what I will show you from now on.
Rolling through the night, European Sleeper. Alright, from Brussels to Amsterdam, Berlin to Prague, we take flight. Hop on board, feel the vibes. We're gonna have a blast, this train's like a party, gonna make the night last. As we leave the station, the beat starts to drop. Dance floor on the tracks, ain't no time for a stop. People from different places coming together. A connection in this European sleeper. Feel the magic, it's perfection. Nice fashion music pumping, it's a sonic symphony. We're moving and grooving, the rhythm sets us free. Through the cities we go, lights passing by like a dream. On this European sleeper, life's a vibrant stream. On this European sleeper.
So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it or this has been a helpful video to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or even if you just want to say hello, feel free to leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet and you would like to see more of this kind of videos, this channel is mainly focusing on cross-bordering and long-distance traveling to show you what it's like to travel on a more sustainable way of transportation. This train is definitely an international and a long-distance train. But if you like it, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. For now, that's really it for this video. See you on my next video. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. If you are interested in other videos, of course you can find them on this channel. And if you're looking for specific routes, in the description of this video on YouTube, you find a link to a map. And on this map you can also find all videos. See you on the next video.